The compliance-driven industry, why it matters more than ever. As we move deeper into final integration, it is critical to understand that today's commercial real estate environment is no longer just transaction-driven, it is compliance-driven. Agents are expected to operate with a high level of accuracy, transparency, and accountability at every stage of a deal. Regulatory oversight has increased significantly, especially with the recent Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE, rule updates in 2025. These changes emphasize supervision, documentation, advertising accuracy, and the proper handling of client information. A successful commercial agent is not just skilled in negotiation, they are highly aware of the legal environment in which they operate. The role of the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE. The Arizona Department of Real Estate is the governing body responsible for enforcing real estate laws, protecting the public, and regulating licensees. Under ARS Paragraph 32-2107, the Commissioner has the authority to adopt rules, investigate violations, and enforce disciplinary actions. For commercial agents, this means that every action, from advertising to contract execution, must align with ADRE standards. For example, if an agent misrepresents a commercial property's income potential in marketing materials, this could lead to disciplinary action under ARS, paragraph 32-2153, which outlines grounds for license suspension or revocation. Compliance is not optional, it is foundational. Professional conduct, AAC, R428-1101 in practice. One of the most important rules governing agent behavior is AAC, R428-1101, which establishes the standard of conduct for Arizona licensees. This rule requires agents to exercise reasonable care and skill, deal honestly with all parties, disclose material facts, avoid misrepresentation. In commercial real estate, this becomes especially important because transactions are often more complex and involve higher financial stakes. For example, if an agent is aware that a commercial property has declining tenant occupancy and fails to disclose that information, they may be in violation of this rule. This ties directly back to earlier discussions on disclosure and due diligence. Broker supervision, AAC, R428-1103, and accountability. Commercial agents do not operate independently. They work under the supervision of a designated broker. Under AAC R428-1103B, brokers are required to exercise reasonable supervision over all transactions, ensuring that documentation is complete, accurate, and timely. This includes reviewing contracts, monitoring advertising, ensuring compliance with disclosure requirements, maintaining transaction records. For example, if an agent fails to include required disclosures in a commercial transaction file, the broker may also be held accountable. This highlights the importance of both individual responsibility and brokerage-level oversight. Advertising compliance in commercial real estate. Advertising in commercial real estate is a major area of risk. Under AAC R428-502, all advertising must be truthful, not misleading, and clearly identify the employing broker. This applies to online listings, email marketing, social media posts, offering memorandums. For example, advertising a property as fully leased when it has vacant units would be considered misleading and could result in disciplinary action. In today's digital environment, where marketing materials are widely distributed, accuracy is more important than ever. Record retention and documentation requirements. Proper documentation is a key component of compliance. Under ARS Paragraph 32-2151.01, brokers are required to maintain records of all real estate transactions for a specified period. This includes contracts and addenda, disclosure forms, communication records, financial documents for commercial transactions, which often involve multiple parties and complex agreements. Maintaining organized and complete records is essential. For example, if a dispute arises after closing, the transaction file may be the primary evidence used to resolve the issue. Good documentation protects both the agent and the client. Disclosure obligations, avoiding legal liability. Disclosure remains one of the most critical areas of compliance in real estate. Arizona case law, including Jennings v. Lee, reinforces the fiduciary duty agents owe to their clients, including full disclosure of material information. Additionally, Hill v. Jones highlights the obligation to disclose known material defects. In commercial real estate, disclosure may involve financial performance of the property, lease terms, and tenant stability, physical condition of the property, zoning and regulatory issues, For example, failing to disclose that a major tenant plans to vacate could significantly impact the value of the property and lead to legal consequences. Disclosure is not just a legal requirement, it is a professional responsibility. Emerging compliance issues, technology and AI. As the industry evolves, new compliance challenges are emerging, particularly with the use of technology and artificial intelligence. Agents must ensure that AI-generated content is accurate, client data is protected, marketing materials comply with advertising rules. For example, using AI to generate a property description that exaggerates income potential could be considered misleading advertising under AAC R4 28502. This ties into the broader responsibility of maintaining accuracy and integrity in all communications, the cost of noncompliance. Failure to comply with real estate laws and regulations can have serious consequences. Under ARS paragraph 32.2153, violations can result in fines, license suspension, license revocation beyond legal consequences. Noncompliance can damage an agent's reputation and business. For example, a commercial agent who consistently fails to disclose material information may lose client trust and future opportunities. Compliance is not just about avoiding penalties, it is about building a sustainable and professional career. Connecting compliance to the transaction lifecycle. When we tie this section back to the transaction lifecycle discussed in Section 6.1, it becomes clear that compliance is present at every stage. Agency requires proper disclosure. Contracts must meet legal requirements. Due diligence depends on accurate information. Closing requires complete documentation. Compliance is not a separate step. It is integrated into the entire process. Elevating your practice through compliance. The most successful commercial agents view compliance as an advantage, not a burden. By operating at a high level of professionalism and accuracy, agents can build stronger client relationships, reduce risk, close more successful transactions. This mindset transforms compliance from a requirement into a competitive advantage. As we continue into the next section, we will focus on ethical decision-making and how top agents navigate complex situations while maintaining professionalism and integrity. Online discussion. Why is compliance considered a foundation of modern commercial real estate practice? Answer: because every stage of a transaction is governed by laws and regulations, and failure to comply can lead to legal and professional consequences. What role does the designated broker play in compliance? Answer: the broker is responsible for supervising transactions, ensuring documentation is accurate, and maintaining compliance with real estate laws. How can technology create compliance risks for agents? Answer: technology, including AI, can lead to misrepresentation or data privacy issues if not used carefully and accurately.